Howdy ho, as promised, I did my Meso Farming about a weekend now, a little over a weekend. So I'd make a video showing off how I did it and effectively what my rates were in doing it and give like a pros or cons if it's worth doing. As with my 0-250 video, all of this gear is still the same, but I'll go over it a little more. I have a Meso and drop ring. This was my primary superior ring for my 250s, so I will be making a replacement ring, but I decided to move this over because it was already two-lined, and I want effectively to have two lines on all of these pieces. This Kana's treasure ring will be replaced with a 40% drop reinforced ring, if one ever exists in this server. I have been looking for almost 3 weeks now, and the only one I've seen sold instantly. So it's gonna be a journey and a half. Our solid ring, 1-line drop, 1-line meso, third line doesn't have any stats and it's just basic Gullick scrolled with 17 stars. Really, you don't need the stat third line for 0. 0 has really good base damage, and like the difference between 2 ticking with the electricity and 1 ticking is a difference of like 20k stat and 36k stat. And I don't know about you, but I'm not going to fund my farmer to 36k stat. That'd be my highest statted character yet. That'd be pretty redundant since the rates aren't really that different, and there's a little cheat you can use that I'll show off to bypass the range requirement. And then this third slot, I'm hoping to find a 40% drop Meister ring, because then I could 17 star that and I could just leave that on this character as its Star Force gear as well. But if I can't find one in like a month or two, I'll settle for a 2-line Blackgate ring. It's okay. This pendant slot here will be another 40% drop pendant. It's pretty much hopefully the same stats. I doubt I'm going to roll 4% all stat on it again. I don't think I need to worry about rolling stat for flames anymore. I'm pretty much effectively 2-ticking with the electricity at my current funding, so I don't need to worry too much. Good weapon, good stats. A decent belt. Belts can't roll drop or mesa, so I just looked for one that was 15% strength for relatively cheap. Got it to 17 star. It still needs a B pop, but I don't think I'll ever worry about that. My old warrior gear, I'm in the process of remaking an entire set of warrior gear with a few pieces that are on this character currently that I'll P-sock and move back and then put the new pieces onto him when the time comes. But for the CRA set, I think I'm just going to leave it all here because really none of it was that good. Like 7 all stat, 20 strength, 16 and 6 flame. None of the flames are that outstandingly good, so I'm not worrying too much about replacing them. 40% Meso monocle, just scrolled it for strength, 30%. Third line doesn't really matter, no B-pod because I don't really need it. A 30% traced for strength tattoo with 1-line drop, 1-line meso. That is pretty much my last meso piece. That puts me at 100% meso. My warrior hat, which is definitely one of the pieces I'll be moving back and replacing, because I'm not going to leave something this good on a character that's effectively just farming. My 2-line drop earrings, I will be having to cube a new set of drop earrings for my future 250s. I already have a legendary set that's been sitting in my storage for a long time, so I'm hoping a DMT rolls around pretty soon and I can roll on those. My shoulder, which, as with the hat, I'm going to be P-socking and moving back to my next 250 warrior because this is really too good for a farming character. And since when I did my 250 originally I only had 7 or 19k strength, I'm pretty sure I'll be okay getting rid of those and replacing them with like 9% strength alternatives at 17 stars. 17 star glove, only 7% strength, really not that great. The flame's okay, but nah. A placeholder heart for Star Force, 9% strength. The cape I'm also going to move back primarily just because of the potential, but the flame's also fairly decent as well. Nothing outstanding, but all in all it's a pretty good cape for 250 mules. And then the emblem, it's just really good. 0 had really good cubing luck. And that puts me at currently, I think, 100% meso and 140% drop. And then I'm missing 3 pieces of drop gear. Then my inner ability is Meso 18% and drop rate 14%. Ideally, I'd have liked to get a 20% Meso line, but since I can't buy circulators with Meso, we had to roll honor, and I rolled both of these at the same time, and I'm not gonna re-roll those. I don't even know if I'll ever black, like, chaos circulate these, because I have more chances of this going down than I have chances of it going up. Like, the drop rate can only go up to 15, and the Meso can only go up to 20 or down to 15. So I don't think I'll ever change that. For my hyper stats, just primarily you want crit damage because that's the most influential on your damage. So damage percent and crit damage percent are the big two to give you as much of a boost to your mobbing as possible. I put enough points into bossing so that when an elite spawned, I could kill it pretty quickly and get back to farming. Nothing too crazy there. Now for that special node I was talking about that helps you bypass some of the, you know, training restrictions. Let's just block out my ping. Boop. And the special V node, where were you hidden? Was it consecutive strikes? Yeah, it's consecutive strikes 1. You gain 100% crit damage for 10 seconds when your combo kills are a multiple of 50. It can proc once every 30 seconds, and since Zero stacks combo insanely fast, you're going to proc this on cooldown, effectively meaning you're getting 100% crit damage, or doubling your damage for 10 seconds every 30 seconds. So out of every minute, you're getting 20 seconds of double damage, which is absolutely absurd for Zero, and it lets you just bypass funding too heavily for your Meso farming. Because really, you don't want to put a ton of money into your farming, you want to put in as little as possible to get to the point where you can farm as effectively as possible. Now, for Meso gear and reg server, to be completely honest, I don't think it's worth it. Like, if I had 100% extra drop instead of 100% Meso, I think my rates would be almost the same. Because as it sits right now, I'm pretty much 70-30 split. 70% of the Meso I make comes from the nodes and droplets I sell, and 30% comes from the raw Mesos I get. That split would be a little better if you could keep wealth up 100% of the time. But since you're limited to only 10 hours of wealth every week, the drops play a heavier part than the Mesos. Like, if you wanted optimal Meso farming, you would stack up 2 weeks worth of wealth coupons, and then as the third week ticks over, you start farming. So you use up the prior 2 weeks, then the week ticks over, and you buy another week's worth, and that'll give you 30 hours of Legion wealth, and then the Meso drop split would probably be a little closer, but since that requires a lot of forethought and a lot of planning ahead, I don't know if I'll ever do that, but that would probably be the optimal way to do this, to make the Meso gear worth it. But just like from my experience doing this for a little over a week now, honestly drop rate is just more important. Like, you get more out of the drop rate, and I would honestly suggest just to make a drop rate set, even if it's just one line of drop. Having even 100% bonus drop on your accessories is so impactful on your quality of life. Like, you'll nearly double your nodestones. You won't have that big of an impact on your droplets because the drop rate on droplets is so absurdly low that increasing it by 100% isn't really going to change much. But your map to farm in is going to be Labyrinth Cavern Upper Path. Now, hopefully I can do some movie magic and actually edit for the first time in one of these videos, but I'll go ahead. The simple rotation is just like the training. You just use your tornadoes. You just do this. And then an easy way to time this is, if you have an extra slot, which was what my H key was originally, is to have your... Why am I drawing a blank on the name? Why am I drawing a blank on the name? It's the Weapon Aura. Weapon Aura lasts for 1 minute and 30 seconds, so that's a really good built-in timer for your Mesos expiring. You just cast Weapon Aura at the start, or as many times as you need to get used to it, and then you just wait. When it's about to expire, you just slowly walk through the map and loot all the Mesos, because after 1.5 minutes of killing mobs like this, there's going to be so much crap on the ground that you can't quickly go through the map by using alpha seals, or you're going to miss huge chunks of the Meso. So I'll perform a bit of movie magic. I'll do an hour of grinding to show you the base rates, and I'll see you there. Okay, almost 2.5 hours later because bots crashed my channel twice, and I almost got crashed at 55 minutes on this final battle analysis. Oh boy. But these are my clean hourly Meso rates. Now, this is purely just my Meso gear and Frenzied Spawn. So this can be doubled with your 2x cash. This can be improved with your wealth accumulation potion. This can be improved with Legion wealth, but obviously only 10 hours a week. So it's not terrible, but still, even not being that bad, I don't know if Meso gear is totally worth it. Because let's see how many drops I got. Oh, and I guess we'll have to take this with a grain of salt because it was almost 2 hours of farming. So let's say about half of this, 21 nodestones, or if you're using a 2x cash card, 22 nodestones, or 42. Wow, I'm terrible at math. 42 nodestones. If we take the 50% conversion ratio from turning these nodestones into tradable nodestones, that still leaves us with 21 nodestones, which is 210 mil, which is just shy of double the Meso we got. So I don't know if 100% Meso is better, or if 100% additional drop would be better. Because even without Meso gear, you can still use your Legion wealths while you train. You could still use wealth accumulations. I mean, you should always be using wealth accumulations, since they give 20% drop and Meso. And if you're farming as well, you should be using drop buffs or familiars if they ever get released. So just from my experience here on these first like 2 weeks, I don't know if Meso gear in reg server is really all that good. Like, it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt. If you have Meso gear, it's completely fine. It doesn't hurt, but I don't know if 100% more drop would net you more Meso through your nodestone and through your droplet sales. I honestly don't know how many droplets I got today because I don't put those in storage after each farming session. I think I got 2 droplets in 2 hours, so it's about on average. So it's not too bad, but I don't think going for Meso Obtain specifically is worth it for reg server. It's just the lack of the 6x base Meso that Reboot has. It really shows through just how much the market actually plays on Meso making for reg servers. Because just the nodestones alone, even if you don't sell the droplets, which I might not even sell mine because I'm a hoarder, but just the nodestones alone make up like 70% of the Meso I make on this character. So that's not that that's not that great for Meso Obtain gear. But obviously, again, if you already have Meso gear, it's completely fine. Just stick with it. But I would say probably don't go for Meso gear in reg server. Instead, I would say for like most players, just aim for like 100% additional drop on your accessories, or even get like a second accessory set for your drop gear. That's what I did when I started in Bera. My very first DMT, I didn't touch any of my armor or weapons. I didn't go for any percent stat at all. I just rolled for 1-line drop on all of my accessories, and that's pretty much what launched my account. Because even with 1-line drop and no lines of stat, just the scrolling and the star forcing on your gear, and as well as the arcane force you get from dailies, you're gonna eventually be able to one-shot. And when you're one-shotting while you're farming, having that 100% extra drop rate means you get nodes that much faster, you can max out your skills that much faster, and you could start selling nodestones that much faster. And honestly, I would adapt a strategy early on if you do get drop rate gear to have a 1 for me, 1 for sale method with your nodestones, where for every nodestone you get, you put 1 aside into your storage for sale at a later date, and you just do that while you're grinding, and then like every 2 weeks, every month, just open up all those nodes in your storage, ignore the urge to use them to improve your own skills, and just dismantle all of them, craft the tradable nodes, and sell those, and you'll get a pretty decent chunk of Meso. Because even with just 100% drop gear, like before I finished my drop gear, my Shadower was one-shotting without maxed boost nodes, and I had more than enough nodes to start up my second 250 on my Nightwalker, so it wasn't really that bad. Also, a key thing to point out, if you do have drop gear, you want as much equipment space as humanly possible, because to sell the entire inventory is more Meso per minute than, you know, just Meso farming. Like, you will get more selling this entire inventory than you will get from looting the entire map in like one cycle, so it's optimal to sell all of your Utgard stuff. Plus, the more slots you have, the more symbols you'll get, and you won't miss if you're not paying attention, so you'll be able to max out your Arcana symbol even faster. So, those are my thoughts on Meso farming and Reg server. I hope someone found this video helpful. See you guys later.